They're all in the same family. We're the only idiots that fight because we want our voice to only be on one side. Like, does that even make any sense? And when the side loses, you lose everything. They, on the other hand, have a voice no matter what because somebody that looks like them is always in control.
Frank, candid, and straight to the point.
Well, it's just a skewed system.
Of course it is.
It's a lot of judgment.
But answer my question, though. Should we let people go? Should we let people go? Like, let's just forget about bail altogether. And if your neighbor commits a homicide and kills people up, if you kill people and they next to you and you just let them come back and live right next to you, they can live upstairs from you. Let them come in your house.
Frank, candid, and straight to the point. This is the best radio show in the state of Wisconsin. Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth and The Truth app.
Now, he's the mayor of the city of Milwaukee. He's a young man. Give him a chance. I only complain about things that I care about. What I want you to do is pretend like I'm in St. Louis. And all I'm asking the mayor and the Common Council president and the Common Council, show me.
Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in the heart of downtown Milwaukee, here is Dr. Ken Harris.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris, 833-212-1. You don't have to let it play to that, and then it just died and make me sound all like sad, melancholy. Y'all see how he be doing me? Man, it must be Monday. You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. Welcome. Yes, I'm in a really good mood. I am. Had a good weekend. Everything's going great. Everything's going fine. Got all this old stuff in here. Gotta do some, what's the word I'm looking for? Anyway. Everybody else stuff in it. Boy, I tell you, that's, as you get older, you get a little more persnickety. You know what I mean? You get a little like, why don't you pick that up? Why don't you clean up that? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Like, I am okay with people doing that. But I'm sorry, I got to do it. Hang on. Hold on. Because it's going to drive me crazy until I do it. Short people. All right, let's see if this works. Oh, yes, Lord. I got a chair that fits. So I can't sit in a chair where my feet bend when they touch the ground. Like I want my feet to actually touch the ground. You know, if you're on YouTube, they touch the ground. That chair had my feet, like I could put my feet underneath the chair because it was that short. I can't do it. If you're of average height between 5 feet and 6 feet tall, why are you here? You just cause too much trouble in the world. All the cars should be made for people 6 feet tall and older and higher. Cars should be made for people 50 years old and older. Y'all can't drive no way. So tearing up the street now. Isn't that terrible to say? Wouldn't that be terrible to say? Some people can't drive for some reason. Well, we know what the reason is. They can't drive. And so as I've been looking around, I found this story that talks about, that actually talks about really, like, if you live in Milwaukee, How much money you think you need to make? And the other question I have is, what is it about money that makes it so insatiable? You know what I mean? Like people can't do without money. What is that? Like no matter what they do, no matter where they go, no matter what they say, they gotta have money. I just don't get it. I mean, I get it. Money is important. Money is something that you use to live every day. But in Milwaukee, what do you think that number is? Well, I found a story on JS Online that says if you live in Milwaukee, here's the income you need to be financially stable. So first you got to answer a few questions as it relates to what do you call financially stable? Is financially stable simply being able to pay your bills every month and then having nothing left over? Is it being able to have extra money to be able to go out and do what you want to do, go on shopping sprees and travel, or what? There's a new report from GoBankingRates.com that said that in more than 50 cities, they looked at the largest cities, the 50 largest cities, you need a specific minimum number in order to actually live, to be comfortable, to be secure. So, Glenn, what do you think that number is in Wisconsin in order to be, Milwaukee, to be financially secure, to have a comfortable lifestyle? How much money you think an individual would need to make?
I'm going to say 67,000.
Okay, 67,000. What about household?
For a couple, between two people?
Mm-hmm. To be financially stable. Like, I'm not behind in my bills, but I still got bills. I can go on a vacation every now and then. I can go buy a book, go get a cup of coffee. Stability.
In Milwaukee, I'll say 110,000.
Okay. Across the 50 biggest cities, $102,000. That's the average. That's the average household income necessary to what they call to thrive in the U.S. That means you invest some of your money, you do all sorts of things, right? Well, for Milwaukee, you were too low. $134,193 to live comfortably in Milwaukee. We ranked 20th out of all 50. So we were near the top. Gas, rent, electric, food, everything's going up. 134. If your household does not have $134,000 household, if it's not, you might be struggling. Here's the kicker. Annual mortgage, right? $14,323 divided by 12 that's about $1,200 a month that you're going to be that you would look to pay in Milwaukee. Healthcare costs $8,418. Got to be a deductible and copay. Oh, my bad. Healthcare is only $7,103. Groceries are $8,418. So wait a minute. $8,418 divided by 52 weeks. That's $161 a week. Young folks blow that on going to the bar at night. Healthcare costs. How much you think healthcare costs? I'm sorry, child care. You got one kid. Child care costs to keep a kid in Milwaukee. How much you think it costs?
Per year?
Yeah.
I will say it's very expensive. I've heard this before. I've heard people have had to quit their jobs for this. I'm going to say $15K, $20K. That's low.
Child care costs. Not clothes, food, shoes.
We're talking about a daycare center, yes.
We're talking about, I got to send my kid to health care so I can work so that I can be stable.
Okay, I'm
You
going to
said-
raise it. I'm going to say $35,000 a year.
$31,929 a year. You're paying a salary to send your kids somewhere to make a salary. And if you make 60, you're not even breaking even. Because after tax, oh, that's right, you're not taking care of your kid. The median household income needed to be middle class, and you were kind of close, $72,458. The low end is $48,305, and the highest end was $144,916. To live in Washington, D.C., that's the number one place, Washington, D.C., $189,306. So we talk about, oh, we're not struggling. We've got middle class in Wisconsin, in Milwaukee. Yes, we do. We have a lot of black middle class people. Are they making the amount of money that's needed in order to survive in Milwaukee? $134,193. We talk about government helping us. We talk about government cutting. But is it going to cut enough to help us live? The government's not here to give you money. The government's not here to take care of you. Unless you get Social Security. Then you paid into it, you should get some out. But to be financially stable, and it's the one thing that is the most insatiable thing for everybody: black, white, Hispanic, Asian, Native, Pacific Islander. If you're a human being and alive and breathing, money is the one thing that people can never have enough of. They can have enough of their spouse. They can have enough of their kids. They can have enough of their family. They can have enough sex, enough alcohol, enough gambling, like all these addictive things that you can do. But what does it come down to? Money, I believe, is the most insatiable thing for a human being. Because whenever they make some, whenever they go, hey, you got it? They want more. And that's why gas prices are higher. Food prices are higher. Yeah, there's some other outside forces that are causing it. But right now, if you're not making $134,000 a year in the city of Milwaukee, in your household, you are struggling. That's ridiculous. I don't get it. 833-212-1017 is the number. In a few minutes, we have a candidate for Wisconsin Supreme Court, Judge Brad Schemmel on, and I'm going to ask him just that. Like, what can be done about the cost of living here in Wisconsin? What laws need to be changed? What things need to be adjusted so neighborhoods and cities like Milwaukee can thrive? Because we keep talking about it, but I don't see anybody doing anything about it. We're going to talk to Judge Brad Schemmel. I'm going to ask him about DEI, too. I'm going to ask him his thoughts on several things as it relates to our community. You want to know why? It's because this is Milwaukee Black Talk.
And that is Dr. Ken's Truth on the new 1017 The Truth. Milwaukee Black Talk.
And Joe Biden wasn't very controversial. He wasn't. Now, he might have done some things in his long, storied past, but if you all have been in the same line of work for 46 years, you probably have done some questionable things, too. Joe Biden was a safe choice. He was a level of common sense. He was a level of stability. He was a familiar political commodity. Democrats don't have that right now. Democrats are caught with their pants completely down.
Listen to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes weekdays from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m.
President Trump and Elon Musk are forcing radical changes in Washington, from stopping payments for health care and threatening to restrict abortion rights to accessing Americans' private information. With Washington out of control, who we elect to the Wisconsin Supreme Court could be the last line of defense of our rights. The ACLU Voter Education Fund does not endorse or oppose candidates, but wants you to cast an informed vote in the Wisconsin Supreme Court election. So where did the candidates land on issues like abortion? Brad Schimmel stated he supports banning abortion. Susan Crawford successfully protected abortion rights while representing Planned Parenthood in Wisconsin. We need a Wisconsin Supreme Court that can be a check and balance to protect us when our rights are threatened at the federal level. On April 1st, Wisconsin voters will make a critical decision about the future of abortion in our state. To learn more about the Wisconsin Supreme Court candidates, visit aclu.org/WI2025. Paid for by ACLU Voter Education Fund, 212-549-2500. Not authorized by any candidate or candidate's agent or committee.
ACLU Voter Education Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising.
It's time for the 32nd Annual Young Gentlemen's Scholarship Botillion, presented by the 7 Jewels Foundation and the Delta Chi Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. A Botillion young gentleman is a high school senior in Milwaukee who's about to embark on adulthood and has chosen to pursue higher education, college, trade, or technical school. One lucky bowl will win a $5,000 scholarship. Apply by February 21st, 2025, and for more information, call Kevin Patterson at 414-364-2835.
Make history at the amazing 10th Annual UNCF Mayor's Mass Ball on March 29th. Join Mayor Cavalier Johnson for an unforgettable evening that will transform lives. Every dollar raised helps promising local students achieve their college dreams through vital scholarships. This premier gala doesn't just celebrate our community, it builds future leaders. Be a part of Milwaukee's most meaningful social event of the year. Reserve your place now at uncf.org/MMB. That is uncf.org/MMB.
At Gruber Law Offices, we've helped tens of thousands of families after a serious accident. Our priority has always been our clients. We're here for you whenever you may need us. One call, that's all.
When you're high, you feel different. Pretty obvious, right? You think different, talk different, but if you feel different, you drive different. So if you're high, just don't drive. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
This is Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Check 1, 2. Can't hear myself, man. Turn them up. Turn it up just a little bit.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I am your host, Dr. Ken Harris. 833-212-1017 is the number. If you own a black business, if you're an entrepreneur, are you looking to share your story and grow your reach? Well, Associated Bank, well, I guess we're just going to do the black-owned business give back because you've been hearing about it for 20. This going into the 5th year. Now watch this. Each quarter, 4 lucky business owners will win an opportunity to spotlight their brand and journey on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. So to sign up for your business spotlight interviews, that's what threw me off. Visit blackbusinessgiveback.com. That's blackbusinessgiveback.com. Let's rebuild our community's backbone through exposure right here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. For official rules, head to blackbusinessgiveback.com. That's blackbusinessgiveback.com. Associated Bank, member FDIC. Also, Truth Nation, Gruber Law Offices, Thanalysis Live is back. Thanks to Gruber Law Offices. And takes place Saturday, March 29th at Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Join Thanasis Antetokounmpo. I can never say that last name right. I think I might have said it right. For a live show that's going to entertain fans like none other. Matter of fact, I just saw him walk through here with guest Brandon Jennings and so many more surprise guests who will be joining Thanasis Live. So get your tickets now for Thanasis Live on March 29th at Potawatomi Casino Hotel. That's this Saturday, by the way. By visiting ESPN Milwaukee on Twitter for event and ticket info. Excite and entertain because you can't get it nowhere else. 833-212-1017 is the number. So we've got a race coming up here in the city of Milwaukee and every single county and every single township, the entire state of Wisconsin. On April 1st, we'll be voting for the Wisconsin Supreme Court. And it's depending on how you look at the race, it's tight or it's not tight. Story in JS Online, Wisconsinites have been inundated with political messages in this year for the state Supreme Court race. You got TV, you got social media, you got people knocking on your door, texts pop up on YouTube. It's everywhere. Well, on April 1st, voters will choose between liberal Dane County Judge Susan Crawford or conservative Waukesha County Judge Brad Schimmel. That decision will also determine whether the 7-member court remains in liberal control or if conservatives regain the majority they lost 2 years ago. The race has been long expected to smash the $56 million record spending that was set in 2023 for the high court. You know what the problem is? It's only 2025, and here we are again looking at it. So we've got here on the phone Judge Brad Schimmel, who is running for the Wisconsin Supreme Court. How are you?
I'm great. It was good to see you a couple weeks ago, and thank you for getting me on here with you today.
So it's kind of weird. I don't know whether to call you Brad. I don't know whether, because I've met you several times. Judge Schimmel. Okay. All right.
Brad works.
So first of all, thanks. It's a mighty chore. I mean, we've been bantering back and forth with the Crawford campaign, with your campaign. I guess in a statewide race, it's kind of tough to squeeze everything in. How long are your days on average?
Oh, I'm out the door by 7 in the morning, and I usually get home. It's bedtime or later. Yeah, this is what it is, and I've been at this for 16 months now. I got in November of 23, so it's been a long haul, but I knew I had to. I knew that I was going to get way outspent when it came to ad buys and things, and the best way around it was for me to get out. I've campaigned in all 72 counties, and I've been to most of them many, many times, and just have continued to try to meet as many voters as I can. I knew, too, that they were going to run a lot of negative attack ads that were going to be false. I was right, and best way around that, meet people face-to-face, and they can check my hairline and see that I don't have any horns. But boy, to listen to them, you think I was devil incarnate. So this is Milwaukee Black Talk, and so we're in an era now where, you know, everything that's basically non-white is almost, it feels as if, and it looks as if it's being pushed to the side. What exactly about, and I'm just going to ask you directly, what exactly about DEI or anything of a minority stance has so many Republicans so up in arms? Well, there are three initials, the D, E, and the I. Inclusion is absolutely, I have no beef with inclusion. Diversity, we should be striving to have diversity everywhere. No issue with that. The equity one, and you and I talked about that, the equity one gives me a little more pause because a lot of people are preaching that doesn't mean equality of opportunity. They think it should mean equality of outcome. And
but wait, who's telling you that?
Pause.
But who's telling you that? Because I'm not hearing that, and people I know in the black community are not hearing that. They're not hearing if you get $200, I get $200. If you get a house, I get a house. I'm not hearing that, and so I'm interested in knowing where that.
Well, it's certainly not happening, right?
Well, of course not.
It's certainly not happening, right? Not. Yeah.
You know, everything in life usually, all things being equal, which is what really equity is about for me. I just want the same opportunity. But the problem is many of the laws that are written by white male millionaires called U.S. senators and U.S. congressmen and women who make laws that are beneficial to them. And so it always feels like you're trying to catch up. So when we talk about equity, what can you tell me about that?
I'm a big fan of term limits. I think we could get rid of some of that. You know, there's a lot of people who go into the Congress who don't go in there as millionaires, but by the time they come out, they have many millions. I think we need to look at term limits. We need to take that out, go back to the citizen legislator, like the founders of this country intended, where you do something else, whatever it is. You could be a blacksmith or you name it. I get it. There's not a lot of blacksmiths now, but I'm using that example on purpose. You could be that. You go serve. You go serve for a while in government, and then you go back to work again like normal people who earn their money the old-fashioned way.
Mm-hmm.
I think term limits would help to take that money out. Now, if we could agree to call it diversity, equality, and inclusion, I'd be more on board. But there have been a lot of people who have taken this into areas where it shouldn't. You know, you look at, you hear things about what went on with Boeing airplanes, for instance, where they're hiring people not because of their qualifications, but strictly because they want to fill a certain quota. That's a problem. You can't, you know, people who build or fly airplanes, they should be building quality products. They should know what they're doing when they're when they're flying them. We should all be able to count on that.
But Brad,
So
we can't blame
we
every
that
mishap.
equality on the front part.
But we can't blame every mishap on the fact that it's probably a DEI hire. It was insulting for someone to say that the helicopter crash in D.C. was probably a DEI hire or there was something like that. People don't know. If you want to work for Boeing, you have to have a 3.5 grade point average and you have to have a PhD in engineering or you can't even get an interview.
For all my years as a prosecutor, I learned very early on.
Mm-hmm.
You can't judge things before the investigation's done.
Correct.
I agree with you. You can't.
Correct.
You can't make those kind of declarations. It misleads people,
right,
and it might be wrong and harm people. That's early on. I learned there's going to be another side to this story. You have to wait till you have it before you start forming your judgment, and before you start tossing around accusations too, because people's reputations get damaged long before anybody gets to the end result. Sometimes before they finish the investigation, or in a criminal case, get the conviction. Just having their name on the front pages or having it listed on the court record as having been charged with something sometimes does all the damage. I agree with you. That shouldn't happen. You just have to wait and be patient till the investigation's done. So
going down the judge route, you're running for Wisconsin Supreme Court. You have an opponent. Donald Trump supported you, if I'm not mistaken, for your candidacy.
Yes,
correct?
He issued an endorsement last Friday. Yes.
So him bashing the judge who made, right or wrong, it's a federal district court judge that said about the flights out of the country for illegal immigrants. To ask for impeachment, what's your opinion on that? Because it's a step too far, because each branch is equal. So just like he gets to say, I want to get rid of them, the judge gets to say no. And I would hope that the judge would follow the rule of law, of course. But what's your opinion on that?
Well, the question in the case is about whether a federal district judge has the authority to issue a nationwide injunction that stops an action of the President of the United States. When you talk about the co-equal branches, the courts do have authority to make certain determinations about which branch of government has certain authorities and when they don't. His objection is that this district judge is biting off more than they should be able to chew, and that's a decision that, frankly, the U.S. Supreme Court's been putting off for a long time.
Correct.
This isn't brand new. This isn't a brand new problem.
Correct.
It's been going on for probably 15, 16 years, and there's a lot of judge shopping that happens. What happens is
they also did
they'll go to a judge that they know the outcome.
But correct. They go shop judges. They did the same thing with abortion. They did the same thing with civil rights. Did the same thing. But in many cases, it was for the greater good. So if you're in this Wisconsin Supreme Court and these types of cases come up, can we trust you? Because last time I talked to Justice Protasewicz, and she was blatant that she was only going to do those things that liberals do. She's going to support abortion. Personally, I don't think that's the place of a judge to tell me how you personally feel. Follow the rule of law.
No, it's not.
Case history and call it a day.
No, you're absolutely right. That's the whole reason I got in this race.
Okay.
We have to restore objectivity to the court. Like I was talking about a few minutes ago, I learned a long time ago as a prosecutor You have got to wait till you have all of the evidence. You can't prejudge it. And, otherwise you start forming a bias. You're going to go forward on something. I'll tell you, the worst nightmare for any prosecutor would be locking up somebody who didn't do it. You get somebody put in prison who didn't commit that crime. You don't want to have to look back later and find out you were wrong about something like that. So it's the same thing with any. That's just part of my makeup now. After 25 years as a prosecutor, 4 years as AG, and 6 years as a judge, I don't prejudge things. It happens all the time in my courtroom now. I've been in the civil division for several years now. It happens all the time that I read the initial briefs. I form an early impression about the case, but I don't let it go farther than that because I know there's going to be a brief from the other side, and that's going to change things in many cases. And then I'm going to have oral arguments. I withhold my judgment in that case until the very end of oral arguments. My law clerk will ask me, which way you lean in the morning before oral arguments. And I'll say, well, listen, I think the plaintiff might have it on this one, but I have questions. We go into court, I get my questions answered, and I change my decision because I get that moment of clarity when I find out what exactly the facts are, and then I can apply the correct law to the case, and I'll change my decision. That's what you want in a judge, someone whose mind stays open till the very end. It's what we insist on from jurors. Any of your listeners who have been jurors know this, that the judge tells you after you're sworn in as a jury, the first thing the judge does is tell you you are not to begin discussing this case with each other or with anyone. You are not to begin forming opinions about the evidence in this case until you've heard all of the evidence, all of the arguments of the lawyers, and I've instructed you on the law. We tell that to every single jury panel because that's critical to them doing their job. Only then can they serve in their proper role as an impartial juror. That's the same thing that should apply to judges. And when you've got somebody that goes out on the campaign trail and says how they're going to rule on cases and then does it when they get on the bench, that's got to end. The whole reason I'm in this race is to end that lack of objectivity, to restore objectivity. Judges also take an additional oath. All public officials swear to uphold and defend the Constitution.
Correct.
But judges do that, but they also take an additional oath that says that they will hear the law impartially. They'll administer the law impartially without regard to persons. And what that means is it doesn't matter who's sitting in front of you. It's all about the facts of the case and the law, and their identity doesn't matter. That's how judges need to decide cases. Otherwise, if they're going to put their own opinions in, you walk into the courtroom, you're going to look up at which judge is hearing your case, and you know whether you won or lost already. That's not the way the justice system should work. What's the point of it then?
Okay. Final question. So during the Trump re-election, he chipped away significantly at the black community. Some are for him now, some are against him, some are ambivalent. What is it you can say running for the Wisconsin State Supreme Court to African-American listeners on 1017 The Truth? Why should they vote for you?
Because they're going to come to my courtroom or to the Supreme Court courtroom, and they're going to get a fair shake. It's not going to be based on who they are or what they believe. It's going to be based on the facts of their case, and I'm going to expect that we go through all of the facts and go through all the arguments and then apply the law equitably without regard to who the person is, and then and only then make a decision in the case. I bring experience to this, 35 years as a public servant. And my motto during those 35 years has been something my parents taught me. You always try to leave things better than you found them. And that's what I think all public servants should do. They don't all do that. The ones that don't, we call bureaucrats. There are many, many good public servants who follow that kind of a motto. That has been how I have structured my career serving the people of Wisconsin, who have been my only client for the last 35 years, have been the people of Wisconsin. And I'm hoping to have the honor to serve on the Wisconsin Supreme Court to make sure that everybody who walks in the courtroom has a fair shake based on the facts of the case and the law in Wisconsin, not on the whims or the opinion of a judge.
All right. Well, thank you much. Brad Schemmel, he is a judge for Waukesha County and candidate for the Wisconsin State Supreme Court. Thank you much for joining me.
Thank you, Dr. Harris.
All right, take care.
Bye.
So you heard him. Your thoughts, 833-212-1017 is the number. Millicent on the talk and text line said, make sure you ask him why there are no black people in his commercials that he's helped. He's a judge in Waukesha. Black people live in Waukesha? Okay, I'm just kidding. But I don't think a lot of black people went to Waukesha. And the only black person I know in Waukesha was the guy that drove through the Christmas parade, and he's sitting in prison for life. So I don't know. But, yeah. 833-212-1017 is the number. And now with traffic on the award-winning 1017 The Truth, here is Jessica Gatzo.
Still watching a slowdown on 43 northbound, mostly between Walnut and Keefe. Otherwise, mostly smooth sailing across the interstate. Tonight, mostly clear skies, a low of 29 degrees. Tuesday, sunshine and clouds, a high of 45. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Jessica Gatzo on 1017 The Truth.
Don't touch that dial. More of Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
With Donald Trump dismantling the Federal Department of Education, we need to make sure we have someone we trust running Wisconsin public schools. That's Democrat Jill Underly. As state superintendent, Democrat Jill Underly has fought to reduce class sizes, expand career and technical education, and she worked to pass a new literacy law that will help improve young kids' reading abilities. Her opponent is Republican lobbyist Brittany Kinzer. Kinzer is backed by the same MAGA millionaires that put Donald Trump in the White House. And when Republican lobbyist Brittany Kinzer was asked about Donald Trump dismantling the Department of Education, Kinzer said, quote, "It's fine." Well, it's not fine, Brittany. We need someone to lead Wisconsin public schools who will be a champion for our kids and community, not a puppet for Donald Trump and the Republicans. On Election Day, April 1st, vote for Democrat Jill Underly for state superintendent. Paid for by the Democratic Party of Wisconsin, authorized by Underly for WI.
This is your Planned Parenthood Advocates of Wisconsin Minute.
Victory Garden Initiative is an acre-and-a-half urban farm that sits right in the middle of the black community on Richards and Concordia. I don't know if you know that Harambe is a food desert. So within its borders, there are no major grocery stores. So people rely on things like dollar store, corner stores, liquor stores to buy food, which is all unhealthy. Everything we grow, and we grow everything, tomatoes to potatoes to carrots to corn to onions, and so on. And everything we grow is free to the community. It started in 2009. They wanted to build a sustainable food production system that was healthy and sustainable. And what that meant was giving people the resources to grow their own food and the skills to make sure that those attempts were successful.
This has been your Planned Parenthood Advocates of Wisconsin Minute.
Skilled trade workers are the backbone of every community and also the Army National Guard. Soldiers trained to keep the power flowing, engines running, and in every other trade needed to accomplish the mission. These soldiers are on the fast track to learning skills that can set them up for success at home with companies looking to hire the best. Their resumes are being built through their paid training and part-time service. Find out how you too can learn a trade profession by visiting NationalGuard.com. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard. Aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer. Our policy is to provide equal opportunity employment, development, and advancement to all current and potential teammates. If you are an organization that maintains a job bank, provides employment information, or gives job referrals, you may request to be placed on the station's mailing list for future career opportunities. To learn more about careers at Good Karma Brands, please email careers@goodkarmabrands.com.
This Associated Bank Sports Update on 1017 The Truth is powered by ESPN Milwaukee. I'm Brandon Snine. The Milwaukee Bucks will resume their West Coast road trip tonight in Phoenix to take on the Suns. Damian Lillard has been ruled out due to that calf soreness. Tip-off for tonight's game is set for 9 p.m. Over to college hockey, where the Wisconsin Badgers women's team are champions once again.
Here comes Eden. Looking, fired, save, make, rebound, scores! Simmons wins the
The goal there giving the Badgers the 4-3 victory over number 2 seeded Ohio State in overtime in the championship match of the Women's Frozen Four on Sunday. And lastly, over to baseball, where the Milwaukee Brewers' last spring training game will take place today as the team begins their final preparations for the regular season, which will begin on Thursday in New York. The Sports Update brought to you by Associated Bank, proudly supporting your hometown teams, member FDIC.
This is Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Play this record as frequently as possible. Then, as it becomes easier for you, play the record once a day or as needed.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. 833-212-1017 is the number. Hey, Truth Nation, our 4th annual Tory Low cleanup in the community is on Saturday, April 12th from 8 a.m. till 12 noon, and we want you to be there. Go to truthcommunitycleanup.com, sign up, volunteer to help keep Milwaukee clean. Everyone who registers for the last cleanup site, and you got to go on the website to find out, will get a free lunch provided by Cousin Subs. Register today. TruthCommunityCleanup.com. Beautify our city together. The Tory Low Community Cleanup on Saturday, April 12th from 8 a.m. to 12 noon, presented by 1MKE. We are 1MKE, and sponsored by Cousin Subs, Reyes Coca-Cola, Landmark Credit Union, and Waste Management. Waste Management. 833-212-1017 is the number. Marlon, you're on the award-winning 1017 The Truth.
How you doing, Dr. Ken?
I'm good. How are you?
I would just like, good. I'd like to say that was a very good interview. I happened to step away, though, so I couldn't hear some of the answers, but I think you kind of, pushed him and let him answer the way that he wanted to answer. I think that this vote for Supreme Court is even more important than the presidency.
Okay.
Because what can change on that court can directly affect us tomorrow. If Donald Trump does something, it's going to take a while to trickle down to me. But the Supreme Court, Wisconsin Supreme Court, if something happens, it can directly affect us tomorrow. And that's why I think this is very important. Back when they were, I think it was when Donald Trump ran the first time, there was something out there called Vote Quad, which I think is very outstanding. You vote for the mayor elects, you vote for the right mayor elects the right police chief. Then you vote for the right district attorney and the judges. The judges are always the hardest to vote for because you don't know, there's no record and you can't get their record on how they judge against certain people. But I just want to say that was a very good interview, and I'm going to have to listen to it on the app later because there was some stuff that I missed that I really wanted to hear. Well, but again, thank you very much. It was very good.
Thanks, Marlon. But if you go,
ahead,
if you go to YouTube, I think you might be able to just back up and check it out and listen to the interview right there.
Yeah, I'm in my car, so.
Oh, you can do it while you're driving.
So
you can do it while you're driving. Man, come on, man. You can watch TV and drive. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. The way some people drive, it may be the same thing, so yeah.
That is true. That is true. All right, talk to you.
Take
Thanks.
care.
All right. 833-212-1017 is the number. Wesley said, after listening to Ms. Crawford earlier on 101.7 and now listening to Brad Schimmel and looking up a lot their different court cases and outcomes, many of Ms. Crawford's cases have went on to be repeat offenders. I think I'd rather have somebody like Brad who may take a little more time in the case to hear out all the facts and make a better decision to have better results. Millicent said, what about the people? What about the people of color? Well, here's my issue with that. When you're a judge, this is me. When you're a judge, I don't want to hear about people of color. I want to hear about how you're going to rule with the evidence and the rule of law. What does the law say? If what the person did, if they're found guilty, are you sentencing them something that's based on their background Or are you sentencing them because you're afraid and you want to get them locked up, right? In the Supreme Court, all that's already done. They hear cases that come to the Supreme Court because people are unhappy with the circuit, the municipal circuit or appellate court decision. So it goes to the Wisconsin Supreme Court, and then federal appellate, and then no. But at some point, well, from state Supreme Court, does it go straight to U.S. Supreme Court? Anyway, I'm not a lawyer, but I want to hear how you're going to rule and what your record is then. I don't want to hear what you think about black people, white people, Hispanic people, Asian people. I don't want to hear about what you think about abortion. I don't care what you think about, because that's your personal belief. What I believe is that if the law says abortion is legal, it's legal, and you follow the rule of law, because that's how I was wired, because that's one of the first oaths I took in life. And if it's illegal, you don't do it. That's it. And if you want to find somewhere in the middle, that's not up to me. My personal choice is me. But what the law says, follow the law. And that's all I want in a person. Later, I'm going to talk about the Kinzer and that other woman who's the DPI, whose name I hate to say, is running. And I'm going to tell you why. In this instance, scream if you like, I'm backing the other woman, Jill Underly. Okay, I said it. Al, you're on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth.
Well, I'm only going to say this: with the brag got birds of a feather flock together, and I'll leave that to everybody else's imagination. You brought up things with, well, how can black people change? I feel like this: black people can control and outdo anything they can if they want to. The only thing they have to do is stop comparing themselves to white people, and they will see their true power.
Well, why do you think
white
we do that? But honestly,
well,
why do you think we do that, Al?
Well, because it's always been put in their head or a belief that, white is so right when really it's not. And they going based off the skin color. And with all the traits and things that black people have, even though they know they can outperform, they choose to compare themselves to somebody that they can crush mentally and through their strength, their power, their work, and their ethics. So
Al,
that's why they continue to lose.
So how would you feel if a white person said the same thing you said just now about white people, and they need to stop dealing with black people who they know they can crush and they're smarter than? Like, how would you feel if
well, I'm going to be honest. I wouldn't feel
be
nothing.
Honest. Don't lie to me, Al. Tell me the truth. No,
I wouldn't feel nothing.
So
I wouldn't feel nothing.
So are you saying
that's
it's
not
okay?
lying?
So it's it. Well,
yeah.
I'm speaking for me. So are you saying that it's okay to sound racist?
No, it's not sounding racist at all.
That's my opinion. That's yours. That's right. It sounds like white people are beneath you.
Well, I'm not saying they're beneath us. I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm saying, black people always had the power to control and dominate, because white people ain't never played the game fair when you look at where we are today. They either put barriers in the front, and they make it hard. So I feel like I go by a saying that my uncle always say. He said, if you stand them up on a corner, I'll knock them down. And once you do that, you will be untouchable. See, white people don't care what black people think. Black people care what white people think. But once black people take...
No. I think some do. But many times that's because you work in an environment where you're only a certain percentage of the people that work there. So at some point you have to kowtow to the rules and the procedures and the culture.
I know I worked in corporate America, and I have hurt a lot of feelings. And I kept a straight face. You don't get to say what you want to me, and I can't say it back. Because, see, if I let you say what you want, now it's not equality. If you can say something cutthroat to me, I can say it to you, except I'm going to go 10 times harder, because that's just who I am, because I believe in delivering the point and the divine favor of who I am. And once black people do that, all this stuff they're dealing with today, they'll brush right off, because you're going to keep a devil on each shoulder and one in your back pocket. And there's a time and place when to use it.
All right. Thank you much.
Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
All I can say is wow.
Don't touch that dial.
More of Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Here at the new 1017 The Truth, we aim to be a staple in Milwaukee's Black community. We are committed to partnering with local organizations and supporting Black-owned businesses. We are proud to call Milwaukee our city and promise to be a positive reflection of our community. We look forward to celebrating Black culture and excellence with you every day as we make history and continue to uplift the voices in our city. Join us for the journey at the new 1017 The Truth, founded by Gruber Law Offices, Milwaukee Black Talk.
On April 1st, we have a choice to make. Donald Trump wants us to elect Brad Schimmel to the Supreme Court. Elon Musk's even spending millions to elect him because they know Schimmel will do whatever they want, even if that means letting them cut health care and food for hungry kids or eliminate the Department of Education. That's why we need to vote for Judge Susan Crawford.
I'm Judge Susan Crawford. As a former prosecutor and now as a judge, I've made sure rapists, murderers, and child predators were behind bars where they belong. And I trust women to make their own healthcare decisions. Brad Schimmel doesn't, but I always will. And that's why I'm asking for your vote.
That's Judge Susan Crawford, protecting our rights, our families, and our community. So on April 1st, help keep Trump and Musk in check. Go to the polls and vote for Judge Susan Crawford for Supreme Court. Make the right choice. Vote Susan Crawford on April 1st. Paid for by Susan Crawford for Wisconsin.
What are some of the things that we need to really focus on to get our fair share of these opportunities, i.e. access to capital?
You know, it's very important to always think about building a strong business plan, understanding the financial parameters around what you're trying to accomplish, building great networks and great relationships so you can have partnerships and building out your dream. And then finding a good financial partner like Old National to help really orchestrate your vision of the organization. And then, as you know, DT, you wouldn't be where you're at because you're phenomenal, doing great work. And then you have to really have to go to work. If you have that dream, you have that vision, the business plan, the financial piece, then you have to really work at it and keep building.
Learn more about the Old National Bank Small Business Empowerment Loan by visiting oldnational.com/small business or contact a small business banker at Old National Bank.
Make history at the amazing 10th annual UNCF Mayor's Mass Ball on March 29th. Join Mayor Cavalier Johnson for an unforgettable evening that will transform lives. Every dollar raised helps promising local students achieve their college dreams through vital scholarships. This premier gala doesn't just celebrate our community, it builds future leaders. Be a part of Milwaukee's most meaningful social event of the year. Reserve your place now at uncf.org/MMB. That is uncf.org/MMB.
This is Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Such a crazy way. Whatever it is that you do when you do what you're doing, it's a feeling that I want to stay. 'Cause my heart starts beating triple time with thoughts of loving you on my mind.
They don't make music like that no more. You got young folk up in here like, oh man, that's like, stop. I'm trying to think who today would sing something like that. Yeah, nobody. 833-212-1017 is the number. Boeing only has 10 or 12% people of color working for them. First of all, why do you say only? Number two, does Like, are we counting numbers for color when we hire things? Because if that's the case, Morehouse ain't got a lot of white people working there. So if we even it out, it's more of them than like. What are we doing where we're destroying our own culture and destroying our own strongholds by making other people do what we're not willing to do? If you're not willing to hire the commensurate number of white people percentage-wise to work at your black company, then don't ask them to do it. Because you know they're not going to do it no way. Anyway, Dr. Ken just tuned in, off topic, but I've been wanting to ask your opinion. Other than saying thank you to police officers who helped you with an incident, is it appropriate to send a small gift like a gift card for pizza? If you can opine, I'd appreciate it. Thank you either way. What I would do is call the office of the chief of police, and I would then have them let them know that you would like to drop off a gift for some police officers and tell them the instance that they helped you and say, I want to drop off a gift for them and have them do that. That way you can track where it goes because the office of the chief tracks everything that comes in, every call, every visit and all that stuff. Don't give it to a cop and have them do it. Call the chief of police and talk to people or call the public information officer. There's a sergeant and he or she'll be able to direct you to where you can drop it off and whether or not the officer's guided, give them your name and all that stuff. So hope that helped. You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. Top 5 at 5 is up next. It's Monday, y'all. You know what that means.
It's Kyle Wallace, host of Truth to Power on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth, and I want you to tune in every day from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. as I engage in a community conversation I know you want to hear. From topics like our property tax bill price hike, which I know had us all shaking our heads, to the incredible MPS students getting millions of dollars worth of scholarships to pursue their dreams, I have you covered, Milwaukee. So tune in to Truth to Power every day from noon to 1 p.m. on 101.7 The Truth, the Truth app, and streaming live on YouTube.
Gruber Law Office's Thanalysis Live is back March 29th at Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Join Thanasis Adetokunbo for a live show that's sure to entertain like none other. Last year, it was a surprise appearance from ESPN's Stephen A. Smith. You never know what Thanasis has planned for 2025. Get your tickets to Thanalysis Live right now. Visit ESPN Milwaukee on Twitter for event and ticket info. It's Gruber Law Office's Thanalysis Live, presented by Potawatomi Casino Hotel and Carbless. Also supported by the Prisoner Wine Company and McDonald's.
Communities in Southern California urgently need our help. The Los Angeles wildfires have been some of the most destructive in state history. Thousands of homes destroyed, schools, classrooms, libraries, museums, places of worship, all lost, and livelihoods ruined. With so much devastation, students, families, businesses, and communities are now left struggling to recover. And that road to recovery will be a very long and a very difficult one. But there is hope. The SoCal Fire Fund provides immediate, free, and long-term support for countless community-centered recovery programs. You can be a part of providing those most impacted with the resources they need to move forward. So please, visit SoCalFireFund.org to learn more about how you can join in this tremendous effort.
You said you'd never buy your kid candy from the checkout aisle. Or forget extra diapers. And never give in to a meltdown. You'd never lick your thumb to clean their face. Never let them have too much screen time. And never bribe them for just one more bite. You say you'd never let them out in public without their hair brushed. Never, ever become a minivan mom. And you'd never give them your phone for a quiet dinner.
Calling boss work phone.
So when you say you'd never leave your child in a hot car, no, it can happen. Cars get hot fast, and kids can be at risk in temperatures as low as 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Never happens. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
We are the home of Milwaukee Black Talk. 1017 FM, 1510 AM WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. Bringing you his authentic perspectives on important topics.
They live in suburbs together. They live in the city together. They hang out together, all in the same family. We're the only idiots that fight because we want our voice to only be on one side. Like, does that even make any sense? And when the side loses, you lose everything. They, on the other hand, have a voice no matter what because somebody that looks like them is always in control.
Frank, candid, and straight to the point.
Well, it's just a skewed system.
Of course it is.
It's a lot of adjustment.
But answer my question, though. Should we let people go? Should we let people go? Like, let's just forget about bail altogether. And if your neighbor commits a homicide and kills people up, if you kill people and they next to you and you just let them come back and live right next to you, they can live upstairs from you. Let them come in your house.
Frank, candid, and straight to the point. This is the best radio show in the state of Wisconsin. Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth and The Truth app.
Now, he's the mayor of the city of Milwaukee. He's a young man. Give him a chance. I only complain about things that I care about. What I want you to do is pretend like I'm in St. Louis. And all I'm asking the mayor and the Common Council president and the Common Council, show me.
Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in the heart of downtown Milwaukee, here is Dr. Ken Harris.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. 833-212-1017 is the number. Now you can just let it go. Just I've been trying for 3 years to get that taken off. Well, I don't have the original, right? I said, download it, put it in the editor, roll that part off, and then re-upload it back in. You don't need the original. Because it's just the end, right? Okay, I thought I was crazy, but yeah. I don't get it. Everybody think I'm stupid. Well, there's some stuff I am stupid about. Like, there are some things there are some things I just don't understand. Like, sometimes I read stuff and sometimes I look at stuff and I just go like, wait, what? Okay, so now we're going to have to go back because it was potted down. We're good? I have got to get. See, I got to do that. You know, you remember everything you want to do and everything you have to do. But in fact, all you really wanted to say is
number 5.
Right? So, anyway, from JS Online, Wisconsin teens. This is like, I'm like, okay, you're going to have to help me today, Glenn, because I'm a little confused. You might want to put some headphones on because I'm going to be asking questions. And sometimes I just don't understand. And sometimes I need somebody younger than me, right? Sometimes you need somebody younger to you to step up and say, you know, well, actually, I see it from this point of view, and you know, we gotta look at it and all that. Cause I don't get it. I don't get it. Now, I did hear a great quote this weekend. So I've been told, and I guess I consider myself an elder of the community because that's how y'all treat me. I guess when you call me old man, I guess I got to take it as being an elder, right? An elder's job is to tell stories of a life well lived. A young person's job is to live a life worth talking about. So if it ain't worth talking about, your mama, your grandparents, your aunts, they ain't gonna be talking about you. Because there's some things in life that you do, like reckless driving, that makes me go, yeah, that's not cool. But we have to trust parents, right? And you remember during COVID, we trusted parents. Let people drive where they wanted to drive. They didn't have to register their cars, all kind of stupid stuff. Student drivers under 17 can now test for their instruction permit at home and online. In Wisconsin, students who've completed a driver education course must also pass a knowledge test to obtain a permit to practice driving. 2-part knowledge test, which the state administers more than 4,000 times monthly, was previously only available in person at the DMV. That's how I took it eons ago. Well, now it'll be available online. Those students must still take the road test in person. After nixing the pilot program, they allowed students to waive the in-person requirement during COVID. We know today students and families are very busy, and this option gives them flexibility to take the test when DMV would be closed. This is their way of letting people who are not U.S. citizens take the test, pass it, get it, and see, that's what I'm talking about. New online permit. Who's eligible? 15 to 17 years of old may take the test online with parents and guardian supervision. What's this? Glenn, would you trust your mother to not have you get a driver's license so you could take your brothers and sisters to school?
I would never.
She would probably take it for you. All right, you pass. Go get the car keys, take them to school. Like, I don't get it.
It's a free loophole.
This makes absolutely no sense. The in-person knowledge test is free. The online test is going to cost them how much? How much would you pay for an online test?
Probably $60.
$10. $10? Are you kidding me? Man, I wish we had this stuff when I was growing up. Lord, I wish we had this stuff.
Number 4.
Have you had your DNA tested to see what country you're from?
I have not.
Oh, well, the Attorney General Bonta from California issued a consumer alert for 23andMe customers saying that they are like financially insolvent and y'all need to be careful because they got all your stuff. Guess what happened over the weekend? 23andMe filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy. So that means that they could quite possibly be sold. So can you imagine some country, say, I don't know, Central America, China, Taiwan, somebody just bops in and says, hey, we'll buy it for pennies on the dollar. And now they have all of your DNA. Well, right now, the California Attorney General, Rob Bonta, said there's a consumer alert to customers for 23andMe Genetic Testing and Information Company. The California-based company has publicly reported that it is in financial distress and stated in securities filings that there is substantial doubt about its ability to continue as an ongoing concern. So that means that they're going to go into bankruptcy. They're going to get either sold or bought or whatever. But the one thing they gave you is how to delete genetic data from 23andMe. So if you forget, that's one of their assets. They get to sell your DNA, which is kind of weird to me. Now let me get, so I'm going to pay you to take a test to tell me about me, but you own it. People don't read the fine print. The fine print says that if I pay you to take a picture of me, the photographer owns the picture. So unless you get a release signed before the photographer takes the picture, they own your picture. They could put it on a porn site. They could put it They could put it on a kiddie site. They could do all kind of stuff. I've seen people's pictures in front of the store, and they walked in and went, "Why is my picture on there?" Oh, you didn't know? Photography is considered art, and the person who creates it always owns the work unless you commission it. Like, if you commission somebody to make a dress for you and they make you the dress, you need to make them sign that they're not going to make another dress like that for somebody else. Otherwise, they're going to make another dress. So I got family members that got 23andMe. So I sent them a text. I was like, "Hey, did you give it?" They was like, "Yeah, we already deleted it." I said, "So did you get like a notice that said it's deleted? And do you ever trust anybody that has any of your DNA?" See, I don't trust it all. I guess I'm just not a trustworthy person to begin with. So, I don't know.
Number 3.
From CBS 58, the Trump administration is asking the Supreme Court to block ruling reinstating thousands of fired probationary federal employees. Here's the deal. Donald Trump got rid of thousands, actually 16,000. Like, employees, like they showed up to work and, "Hey, dude, you ain't got a job because you're temporary." Now, technically, you can let people go in their probationary stage, right? And if you live in a, not no-fault state, what is it? If you live in a state where you don't have a right, it's not a right-to-work state, but you don't have a right to, you're just kind of like out there. Kind of out there. The emergency appeal is the administration's last attempt to get the nation's highest court to intervene on its behalf as lower courts frustrate, even on a temporary basis, key parts of President Donald Trump's second-term agenda. See, I think, based on what the Chief Justice said to him the other day, you can't be going in and, saying you want to impeach judges, because that's, and by the way, impeachment is just that. We're going to smack your hand, and after that, it doesn't matter. No, let's leave them alone. They are a equal branch of the government. The president is not a czar. He's not a king. And even then, he doesn't get a part of the rulings that other courts make. They got to go on the legal side. And so I think it's fitting. They're both co-equal branches, and I don't know if the Supreme Court's going to be on Donald Trump's side. I wholeheartedly think the Supreme Court's going to tell him the same thing that the Chief Justice told him, is watch yourself, stay in your lane. We are an equal branch just like you. So we get to offset what you say. You get to offset what we do. If you don't like it, pass legislation, but it won't fly. So until you do that, I think the court's going to have to step up and take care of it.
Number 2.
Well. I keep hearing about how crime is committed. And when I was growing up, I always thought crime was based on race. Because you could kind of, my generation does that. You could kind of figure out what somebody was doing based on the fact that when you heard what the crime was. And I'm sorry, but just like you could tell a person's voice and tell whether that whatever, be within a strongly high, let me think of a significantly high percentage rate of what the race is by the timbre of their voice. Right? You could tell that same thing with crime. That's just me. When you hear about the crime, you go, yeah, I know who did that. And I'm not trying to be funny, but, when you hear certain crimes, you kind of go like, oh, I know what that was. A Milwaukee area lab owner, River Hills man, was sentenced to 21 months in prison for what? for paying healthcare kickbacks that defrauded Medicaid and Medicare programs of more than $2.2 million. Justin Drew Hansen received the sentence on the 21st for violating the anti-kickback statute. That's according to the U.S. Attorney's Office for Eastern District of Wisconsin. He was also ordered to pay back the $2.2 million in restitution and $75,000 in fine. Now, here's my question. I wonder how old Justin Drew Hansen is that he ran a lab and was able to make that much money. Court records show that Hansen and co-defendant Mohammed Kazim Ali owned Noah Associates, a Milwaukee area clinical laboratory, from 2017 to 2020. They paid more than $400,000 in kickbacks to a substance use treatment clinic owner in exchange for referrals of Medicare and Medicaid patients for urine drug testing. So you paid for them to come to your clinic so that you could test them and then bill Medicare and Medicaid. The tests were not ordered by physicians. They were not medically necessary, and the scheme used sham agreements to conceal the fraud. Now watch this. When did he do it from? 2017 to 2020. It's now 2025. So it took you 5 years to lock this person up. That's not what I was going to say, but I have to say that because we're on radio. COVID hit, and government employees were sitting at home with nothing to do. So they started scrolling. No, I don't know how they found him, but they found him. So rather than bill the government for tests that patients truly needed, Hansen abused the Medicaid and Medicare programs for his own benefit. Hansen personally received hundreds of thousands of dollars from the operation. He'll be excluded from future participation in Medicare and Medicaid programs, and Noah Associates has been shut down. Previously, he pleaded guilty to similar charges and was sentenced to 15 months in prison earlier this year. So 15 and 21. That's not a lot of time for stealing $2.2 million, because I'm in good. See, I used to cringe when I heard people say, boy, if that was me. Well, you don't really know because it wasn't you. But now I'm starting to see patterns where if that guy had been black, we'd still be looking for him. Oh, he got 875,000 years. And so, we'll just, we can't say we'll see him when he gets out because none of us will be alive.
Number 1.
Well, this one kind of threw me, and I want to know what you think about it. 833-212-1017 is the number. I'm just putting it out there now. I'll even ask Glenn if he wants to chime in. He don't have to, but at some point, from news1.com, you know who Malik Yoba is?
Yes, I do.
Okay. He recently made headlines, you might have heard, with this statement that he no longer identifies as a black man or a person of color. Instead, he has chosen a label for himself, non-white man. This declaration has sparked a variety of reactions, with some people interpreting it as a challenge to the current political climate and ongoing debates around race and identity. I don't know. Do you consider yourself a black man, Glenn? You didn't hear what I said, did you?
Kyle was in my ear. I'm sorry.
I know. Kyle always come in at the wrong time and then start talking and playing with computers and doing all kind of stuff, singing and dancing.
Can I ask you to repeat
No,
that?
I'm not going to do it. I'm mad. No, I'm just kidding. Would you ever consider calling yourself, other than black, but calling yourself a non-white man?
No, I was raised to have pride and, love the skin that I'm in. I don't see why I would want to identify as nothing, basically.
So are you saying that he doesn't love his skin, or are you making an assumption about him, or what?
It's a very layered assumption, but he is rejecting the fact that he is clearly an African-American man, was born as an African-American man, so.
Well, I wasn't born an African-American man. I was born a black man. Technically, I was born a Negro. I'm just saying. My birth certificate say Negro. I'm fine with all of them. I'm not really cool with African-American because, I got family that's literally African, but Anyway, this declaration has kind of made people wonder, like, what's dude talking about? Well, his statement seems to be tied into broader issues about DEI programs. Now, I think you all are tying it into DEI programs because I don't know if he meant non-white man is tied in. But I think what he sees is that because he works in New York and L.A., in film and video and movies and all that, they're removing content. So if he identifies himself as a black man or puts something on TV or on a screen that says black, you know, somebody might be repulsed or something. I don't know. I wonder what that means. I wonder what it'll mean if one day people get so crazy that we just remove race anyway. Because if you're part of the majority, which is weird because you're not the majority, but if you're white, you've never had to deal with color ever. You've never felt uncomfortable unless you were in a room where people in the room didn't look like you and you were literally in the minority. But then many times, an arrogance takes place where, well, you think you're better than everybody anyway, so everybody should be talking to. Like, there's this air that comes about, and I get it because I see it every single day. And I just wonder about that. I go, wow, you just... Interesting. So he's no longer a black man. Clearly, he's not a white man. He has called himself non-white man. Now, here's my problem with the label. Of all the colors to be, you stopped being black, but then you put white in your description as non-white man. What's that about? If you're not going to use a color label, but see, I don't know why he's doing it. If he did it to not use a color label, just call yourself man, non-man. Give yourself a symbol like Prince. Call yourself Manly Gaga instead of Lady Gaga. I don't know, but at some point, you're not challenging anything. Because I didn't read this on I read it on News One, a predominantly black entertainment network. And so really what we're finding is that it's probably not going to make a dent. Donald Trump's not going to care. People he works with aren't going to care. And if people want to pull back on DEI, let them. Let's go build our own. Let's go create our own. You get mad about something, if you get mad enough, you just go pay for it yourself. And it's unfortunate we feel that way. But to not call yourself a black man or a person of color and then to call yourself a non-white man is calling yourself a person of color. White. Non-white. No, I'm not white, I'm non-white. Is that like off-white? Or is that eggshell? I don't know what he was thinking.
Don't touch that dial. More of Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Join your boy Tory Lowe and the Truth Team for our community cleanup on Saturday, April 12th. Go to truthcommunitycleanup.com to sign up to volunteer at one of our 3 cleanup locations. Everyone who joins gets a free lunch provided by Cousin Subs. Register today by visiting truthcommunitycleanup.com. Bring the whole family to help clean our city. The Tory Lowe Cleanup is presented by 1MKE and sponsored by Cousin Subs, Ray's Coca-Cola, Landmark Credit Union, U.S. Cellular, and Waste Management.
Sharon needed legal help. She needed Gruber Law Offices.
When I think about Gruber Law Office, I think about how they took care of me, how they make sure that you get what you're supposed to get. Gruber Law Office. One call, that's all. I will always trust one call, that's all.
Injured? Call Gruber Law Offices today. One call, that's all.
They are the best. I'm very happy.
Make history at the amazing 10th annual UNCF Mayor's Mass Ball on March 29th. Join Mayor Cavalier Johnson for an unforgettable evening that will transform lives. Every dollar raised helps promising local students achieve their college dreams through vital scholarships. This premier gala doesn't just celebrate our community, it builds future leaders. Be a part of Milwaukee's most meaningful social event of the year. Reserve your place now at uncf.org/MMB. That is uncf.org/MMB.
President Trump and Elon Musk are forcing radical changes in Washington, from stopping payments for health care and threatening to restrict abortion rights to accessing Americans' private information. With Washington out of control, who we elect to the Wisconsin Supreme Court could be the last line of defense of our rights. The ACLU Voter Education Fund does not endorse or oppose candidates, but wants you to cast an informed vote in the Wisconsin Supreme Court election. So where do the candidates land on issues like abortion? Brad Schimmel stated he supports banning abortion. Susan Crawford successfully protected abortion rights while representing Planned Parenthood in Wisconsin. We need a Wisconsin Supreme Court that can be a check and balance to protect us when our rights are threatened at the federal level. On April 1st, Wisconsin voters will make a critical decision about the future of abortion in our state. To learn more about the Wisconsin Supreme Court candidates, visit aclu.org/WI2025. Paid for by ACLU Voter Education Fund, 212-549-2500. Not authorized by any candidate or candidate's agent or committee.
ACLU Voter Education Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising.
This is Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Peace and blessings manifest with every lesson learned. If your knowledge were your wealth, then it would be well earned. And we were made in His image, then call us by our names. Most intellectual.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. 833-212-1017 is the number for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. You know, you can accomplish a lot in 6 years. Matter of fact, I think she hasn't put out an album in at least 6 years. It's got to be more than that. You can actually change diapers and go from that all the way to dropping your kid off at school in 6 years, because I guess you can go to kindergarten at 6. Go to kindergarten at 3 or 4. I don't know what 3K is about, but maybe you need to go twice to make it 6 years. You can even get a bachelor's and master's degree, or you can end up just take up to 6 years to pay off your brand new Pella windows and doors at 0% interest. 10-year labor warranty always included, so your windows and doors are secure for years to come. Certain restrictions apply. Offer ends March 31st of 2025. Today's the 24th, so you only got about literally a week. Then you got to give it. How do you do all that? You can set your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com. That's PellaWI.com. So make sure you check it out. Yeah. Change my name. I am no longer black. I am a non-white man. What exactly are you avoiding? Like, I don't really understand. I don't really understand. And I get he has immigrant parents, but I don't really care. So hasn't this been the case? If you're African, you can call yourself black or African, but African American is specifically for those whose lineage comes from slavery. That your great-grandparents, or, well, I guess in today's, your great, I can't count that many generations. Anyway, that they like my great-grandparents were slaves. My great-grandparents were slaves. My grandfather and grandmother's parents were slaves. So Wouldn't you consider yourself black if you're from Africa? Because do we call ourselves North American? No. So then you can't. Do you call yourself African? You claim an entire continent? I'm from Africa. Well, actually, find out where you at. Where were you actually from? Because these generalities drive me crazy. And I'm already crazy, so you know how that goes. Somebody said if you were still, who was that? Aramore said if you remove race, you still have ethnicity, language, and religion. Well, what is ethnicity? Right? Well, let's look at that. What is ethnicity? It's a group of people who identify with each other based on shared cultural characteristics, language, religion, beliefs, values, behaviors. So culturally, what would a black person call themselves if they don't want to be black and they don't want to be African American? I don't think non-white person or non-white man is the thing. So what do you call yourself culturally? Because we don't have one. Nigerian? Beninese? Like, is it from your country? Being an American? There's an American culture. I get that. Italian, Polish, Scottish, Puerto Rican, Filipino. Then why don't we count black as an ethnicity? If your heritage is from Irish, is Irish, and you're from Ireland and your ethnic group is Irish, then if you're African, isn't African an ethnic group? But nowhere in here do I see that. Whenever they talk about black people, it's always race. So I think next time somebody asks me ethnicity, I'm going to check other, and then I'm going to put American. And then see what somebody says. Excuse me, sir, you got this wrong. Are you telling me that I got my ethnicity wrong because you decided what it was? Hmm. 833-212-1017. Ethnicity can be Creole, Cajun, African American is an ethnicity. I don't know. And the reason I don't know is because they didn't list it on here. But watch this. I'm a show ass. Let me see. Baby, I got to go on my phone because I got Chat GPT on my phone. And I'm going to just ask. All right. Let's see if we can do this. Is what are we going to call it? African American? Is African American? Wow, ChatGPT is trying to make it with a small a. Anyway, is African American an ethnicity? Question mark. ChatGPT said, yes, African American is generally considered an ethnicity, not a race. Race refers to physical characteristics like skin color, black, white, Asian. Ethnicity refers to cultural factors such as nationality, language, heritage, and tradition. So, African American refers to a specific ethnic group of Africans with ancestry rooted in African continent, particularly descendants of enslaved Africans in the United States. So let me see who said that. Let me find who said that. Aramore said that. How are you?
Pretty good.
And I said your name wrong. It's Armor.
It's Aramore. It's my name
Armor?
backwards.
So people can't spell.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, with our group, it can be confusing because a lot of us use black as an ethnicity and as a culture, and then you have black immigrants that come over here.
No, but black is also a race.
They are black,
but it's a race.
Yeah, so when black immigrants come over here, they're black. They check the black box. So, but us over here, since we were the first black people, we was dealing with all that stuff in the past.
No, we weren't the first black people here. I think some black folks came here before we did. I hope we did.
Yeah, but that's not proven.
So what? It's my story.
Yeah, so for me, African American, it's a you can say Black American or African American. People know who you're talking about.
So let me ask you this question then.
Cultural.
Am I a
cultures in
Black
the United
African
States.
American and Elon Musk is a white African American?
No, Elon Musk is a descendant of apartheid Europeans.
No, you can't say that. Apartheid is not a no.
I can.
No, you can't. Not on my show. You can't. but he is African American, and he's white. So if African American
it's a mostly
he is.
White people from South Africa are not African Americans. They're not part of our cultural group.
You're not hearing me. If you're African and you're from America and your heritage from Africa, the whole point of it is that you are descendant. Now, we call it descendants of slavery, right? Correct?
Yeah, but that's not how though these labels
that's not
can
how
be
it's
tricky.
used. Well, see, that's part of the problem. When we going to get rid of the labels?
Because there are other, you know how people use the word Caucasian here?
Right.
Right. But they're not really from the Caucasian region of Europe. They're from Germany. Those aren't Caucasians.
Well, there are only like how many groups? Caucasoid, Negroid, Mongoloid, and I forget the fourth one. But there are only 4 main groups. This is old school. That make up every region, and then we've mixed and matched and all that kind of stuff. So.
Yeah, it's confusing, but for the most part, when people think of African Americans, it's us, Black Americans. With
that's what
history
we
going
think
back
when
to the
we think
1500s.
about it.
But that's what it is. We set the standard for that term.
No, you didn't.
Other people don't set the
Jesse
standard.
Jackson made that up. He
Other
pulled
people
it out the air.
Yeah, he did. I mean, whether we are called that or Black American, it's still, points to the same people.
We don't call Irish people Irish Americans. We call them Irish. We don't call Italians Italian Americans. We call them Italian. If you tack American to it, does it really matter?
I mean, March is Irish American History Month. I don't know if you knew that, but yeah, it's used.
Well,
it just depends on who's using it.
So watch this. Somebody's trying to tell me Haitian, Somali, and Nigerian are ethnicities. They're not. Those are races. Haiti is a country.
No, those are national.
Those are nationalities. I'm sorry.
origin.
You're right. They're national Somali. You're from the country of Somalia. So
Somalians are ethnically Somali.
So
they'll tell you that they are Somali.
Correct. So
yes,
Idris Elba.
Haitians.
Idris Elba. So
Haitians.
Go ahead with Haitians.
Okay, so Haitians, that's a tricky one. They are Black, but Haiti is also a Latin American country. But Latinos in the United States
been inhabited
don't consider them.
No. Who was
Latinos do not consider Haitians Latinos because they don't speak Spanish.
So what do they speak?
Because they're Black. They speak French, but French is also a Latin language.
Listen to what I'm saying.
But there are some discrepancies with that as well, and it's because Haiti is a majority Black country, and a lot of those countries don't want to associate with Haiti because they are a Black country.
So
but
some
there is
people say
also
that. Where are you getting all this information from?
Country.
Stop. Where you getting all this information from?
I just noticed that.
No,
I'm culturally inclined.
You don't get to come on my show and just spout stuff without having a source. So next time you do, make sure you have the source. I need a legitimate source.
I got you.
All right.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, take care. Because he be going, whoa, it's Africa, that's a country. So Ann said Idris Elba. He's English. He was born in England. His family is from Africa. Whatever y'all call him, he's a Black Englishman. I mean, I don't understand the question. It seems kind of weird that you would ask that question because This is kind of weird. You think people in England ask black people, well, what about Denzel Washington? You're right. I just that is kind of funny though, but I don't really he can listen to the why can we say there's only 4 major groups that everybody make up but we can only say okay, now you're just starting to Craig just trying to start a fight. But the answer to your question is that because nature said so. So there you go. You got a problem with it? Argue with nature. Give God a call. All right? 8332. You all are in rare form today. For most of humanity, there's no such thing as a race. That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. When other people make stuff up and then call it something, that's what it is. Because you decide it's not, that's fine. And you can believe that if you want to. But, like, race was okay, first of all, I'm not taking Prince as a accurate representative of Black America. I'm just saying. So, I think y'all be tripping. And we're going to keep tripping with traffic here on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth. Here's Debbie. Who's in for Debbie today? I think it's Jessica Getza.
It's a mostly traffic-free commute this afternoon. One place you'll want to plan for just a couple extra minutes is 43 northbound. That's between Walnut and Keefe. Tonight, mostly clear skies, a low of 29. Tuesday, sunshine and clouds, a high of 45. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Jessica Gatso on 101.7 The Truth.
Don't touch that dial. More of Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris is next on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
On April 1st, we have a choice to make. Donald Trump wants us to elect Brad Schimmel to the Supreme Court. Elon Musk's even spending millions to elect him because they know Schimmel will do whatever they want. Even if that means letting them cut health care and food for hungry kids or eliminate the Department of Education. That's why we need to vote for Judge Susan Crawford.
I'm Judge Susan Crawford. As a former prosecutor and now as the judge, I've made sure rapists, murderers, and child predators were behind bars where they belong. And I trust women to make their own healthcare decisions. Brad Schimmel doesn't, but I always will. And that's why I'm asking for your vote.
That's Judge Susan Crawford, protecting our rights, our families, and our community. So on April 1st, help keep Trump and Musk in check. Go to the polls and vote for Judge Susan Crawford for Supreme Court. Make the right choice. Vote Susan Crawford on April 1st. Paid for by Susan Crawford for Wisconsin.
The award-winning 101.7 The Truth proudly celebrates Women's History Month. Listen to one of our incredible Truth teammates highlight the remarkable achievements of Black women throughout history.
What's going on, Truth Nation? It is DT. For Women's History Month, I want to highlight the queen of rock and roll, Tina Turner, including the incredible impact she has made throughout her life. Born in Tennessee, Tina Turner began her musical career with her future husband, Ike Turner's band, the Kings of Rhythm, in 1956. She was born as Anna Mae Bullock and went on to record as part of the group Ike Turner's band hits like A Fool in Love. The Ike and Tina Turner Revue became one of the most formidable live acts in history. In the 1980s, Tina Turner launched one of the greatest comebacks in music history. Her 1984 multi-platinum album, Private Dancer, contained the hit What's Love Got to Do With It, which won the Grammy Award for Record of the Year and became her first #1 song on the Billboard Hot 100. Tina Turner has sold more than 100 million records worldwide, becoming one of the best artists of all time. She is a Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award winner, as also ranked as the 100 greatest artists of all time by Rolling Stone magazine. In January of 1988, Tina Turner set a Guinness World Record for the largest paying concert attendance for a solo artist by performing in front of approximately 188,000 50,000 people at Maracana Stadium in Rio de Janeiro. Tina, thank you for reminding women all over the world that life, success has no expiration date. Don't quit, navigate through the adversity, and life will reward you back. Tina Turner, we salute you and we thank you.
Tune in to The Truth as we celebrate the greatness of black women all month long.
This Associated Bank Sports Update on 101.7 The Truth is powered by ESPN Milwaukee. I'm Brandon Snine. The Milwaukee Bucks will resume their West Coast road trip tonight in Phoenix to take on the Suns. Damian Lillard has been ruled out due to that calf soreness. Tip-off for tonight's game is set for 9 p.m. Over to college hockey, where the Wisconsin Badgers women's team are champions once again.
Here comes Eden. Looking, fired, save, make, rebound, scores! Simmons wins the national championship in overtime.
The goal there giving the Badgers the 4-3 victory over number 2 seeded Ohio State in overtime in the championship match of the Women's Frozen Four on Sunday. And lastly, over to baseball, where the Milwaukee Brewers' last spring training game will take place today as the team begins their final preparations for the regular season, which will begin on Thursday in New York. This sports update brought to you by Associated Bank, proudly supporting your hometown teams. Member FDIC.
This is Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris, 833-212-1017. Did he hang up? I guess so. Sandra, you're on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth. How are you, Sandra? Where you been?
Hi, Dr. Ken.
Hey, how are you?
I've been kind of busy. Yeah, I've been kind of busy. I had some emergencies in the house here. So I've been at the hospital.
Everybody okay?
Back again, back home.
Everybody okay?
No, but it's better. No, it was my daughter again. She's better.
Okay.
But
so it was your
they had
sister
to give her
again?
emergency surgery.
Your sister or your daughter?
My daughter.
Okay.
My daughter. Yeah, she had to have emergency surgery. They sent her to one hospital. I ended up going out there. Then they couldn't do whatever they needed. So they sent her back to another. So I was back and forth. So she's better. So I got her off my mind a little bit.
Okay.
But yeah, I was listening. Yeah.
See, you got to call us. Well, you got to call us when you have her on your mind so we could be with you.
Well, you know something? I think I'm a different kind of person.
Hey, when you get Truth Nation behind you, we got you. Everything's better.
Yeah, I thank you so much. But I just thinking. I guess I'm a Taurus.
She's
you kind
like,
of
no.
thinking to yourself.
She's like, no, we
You know, No, I love it. I love it. It's just that I guess I'm kind of like, you kind of shrink in and then you hold it inside.
Right.
That's the type thing I do, and then I think a lot. And sometimes that don't help either because you got to release some of the thinking.
You're a overthinker.
I'm not an overthinker, but I be thinking about things that's, inside your home and stuff that you have to do. I don't overthink it. It's just that I have to figure out how I can handle it, like that.
Okay.
So it's just like that.
Okay.
But I'm pretty kind of brave. I'm a Taurus, so I'm kind of like a little bull. So I try to, stick with it and all the good stuff.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, we will keep her in our prayers.
Yeah, she needs it, but she's coming along pretty good now. Now that everything is settled down, and I can get back on the show, so I can get going with you. And I heard somebody say you were old as Bernie Sanders.
sound like something Sherman would say.
Hey, you got it right. It was funny. I started cracking up. And then I said, well, you ain't as old as I am, so you're still good.
He wish.
You still got a few more years
Thank you for that.
catch up.
Thank you for that. And he wishes he was old enough to have a conversation with either of us. But we just, every now and then, let him say what he's saying, and he thinks that he's right, but that's okay. Huh?
And I can be his mother because my son is older than him. My oldest son is older than him.
Yep. Very true.
Yep. And then I got one in his 50s, and then I got my daughter, she's 46.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you, man.
So I can be, but anyways, I was going to tell you,
Got to hurry up because I got a break.
Tesla cars. Okay, Tesla cars. And then, hey, they said a robot's going to draw your blood.
No, it's not. We're done.
Yes, it is. Okay, bye, Dr. Kid.
All right, bye. Being cut my arm off. Hey, robot, can you? Hey, dude, that was my arm. Okay, well, then I'll go get some. Like, you're gonna sew it back on? What's up with that?
Don't touch that dial. More of Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. Milwaukee Black Talk.
And Joe Biden wasn't very controversial. He wasn't. Now, he might have done some things in his long, storied past, but if you all have been in the same line of work for 46 years, you probably have done some questionable things too. Joe Biden was a safe choice. He was a level of common sense. He was a level of stability. He was a familiar political commodity. Democrats don't have that right now. Democrats are caught with their pants completely down.
Listen to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, weekdays from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m.
It's 1017 The Truth. Dr. Ken Harris for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. We talk a lot about the unprecedented quality and service you get from Pella, but talking to the people who work there, you can tell how much they genuinely love what they do. Helping fulfill people's dreams is very rewarding to them, and it shows through their tremendous efforts. Pella consultants take the time to listen to each customer, finding the right solution that works for their home. They know that everyone's situation is different. Maybe you have a historic home you're renovating, or it's a new build with unique finishes. Pella designers can customize windows and doors to perfectly match any one-of-a-kind abode. They're with you from start till finish. It's like having a friend on call throughout the project and beyond. They don't disappear after the sale. So why wait? Get the Pella experience in this incredible deal. 0% interest for up to 6 years on brand new Pella windows and doors. Certain restrictions apply. Ends March 31st, 2025. Get started today at PellaWI.com.
Ready to buy your first house, move into your forever home, or simply refinance? At Associated Bank, they've got you. With the right lending plan and guidance, you can achieve your dreams. Your financial goals are closer than you think, and Associated Bank is excited to help you reach them. Learn more at associatedbank.com/lending or ask a banker for details. Subject to credit approval, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here, reminding you that a lot of life's firsts are better with help from American Family Insurance. Like your first home expansion or your first big lightning strike. There's a first for everything. Get the right home policy at the right price with the right help from American Family's agents. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
When you're high, you feel different. Pretty obvious, right? You think different, talk different, but if you feel different, you drive different. So if you're high, just don't drive. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Happy kids heal faster, and that's why Starlight is dedicated to improving the mental well-being of sick kids across the U.S. Learn how at starlight.org.
Gruber Law Offices, a proud partner of your Milwaukee Bucks.
This is Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
I guess that was some kind of Monday, huh? We want to be praying for Sandra's sister and family. Hey, James, we're not going to get to you today, but try us again tomorrow. Is it cold outside? I hope not. I hope not. But you know it is, right? Yeah, it's kind of depressing. And then it's a Monday night and it's cold. The wind was blowing crazy today. You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. Tori Lowe Show's coming up. And no, it's not. It's Monday. See, got you again. Truth Unfiltered be coming up in a few minutes, myself and Denise Thomas. We'll be talking about a variety of things that I think will make you go, did they just say what I thought they said? So, why? Because it's truth, but it's unfiltered. So we got a couple of unfiltered moments I want to hang around and listen to and go like, wait. So if I'm not here tomorrow, it's because of Truth Unfiltered. But in order to do that, you have to be here, right here, on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth to make sure you hear it. You can always stream and watch us live on YouTube at 1017thetruth.com. Make sure you subscribe, hit the notification button so you never miss a minute of the show. Hey, God bless. Take care. See you in about 22 hours. Thank you, Glenn. Appreciate you. God bless. I'm out.
Here at the new 1017 The Truth, we aim